Hi, sharks. It is Financial Sharkstress Galit Sadiq. Happy Money Monday. So today's topic is something that's super important to me. This is my day job. This is, what I take care of every single day and what I see so often in the people that come to me. So, small businesses, freelancers, entrepreneurs. This is who I'm talking to today. How are you managing your money in a small business? Are you going just by the seat of your pants? Do you have tools? Have you put anything in place to be able to track the money to make sure that you're making good decisions? If you haven't, there are things that you can use and they are not high cost. So the first thing that I recommend for a small business owner. So first of all, it is like tax deadline is upon us, right? So if you filed your taxes for last year, awesome. If you haven't, get on that right now and make sure that if you need to get an extension, you get an extension because you do not want to push off taxes. That is one of those things that the government is going to get you at some point. You need to make sure that you're on top of it, that you are filing your taxes, that you are doing it on time. It is a necessary evil, as we say. Like it is something that we just have to deal with if you're going to run a small business. If you're going to live in the United States, taxes are something that we have to deal with. So please make sure that that is something that you are taking care of. So that's number one. Number two, right now is a great time to start for this year, right? So the biggest pain point that I see with small businesses is that they wait until right now to freak out and have to get all of last year done. They need to get all their books done. They need to get all their stuff categorized. They need to send spreadsheets to their accountant. It's just madness. It's craziness, right? I do not want you to do that. So if you need, there is a free website. It's a free accounting software called Wave Apps. WAVEAPPS. Wave Apps. So, what Wave Apps is a great accounting software. It is not okay, so it is not as good as QuickBooks. I'm going to tell you, I am like a QuickBooks Pro advisor. I love QuickBooks, but when you are just starting out, sometimes you just cannot afford that. And that's perfectly okay, but you should still have access to an accounting system that's going to work for you. So Wave Apps is free. It is not as robust as QuickBooks, but most likely if you're in the beginning stages of your business, or if you're not making a ton of money, you're not too complicated, you're not going to need the QuickBooks, especially if you are not like tracking inventory through there. Honestly, QuickBooks Online is not great with inventory anyway, so you need like a third party software. But if you just want to get things started and have things organized for yourself, get Wave Apps. It connects to your credit cards and your bank accounts and it pulls the transactions for you so that all you have to do is go in and categorize them. The first thing that you start with is a chart of accounts. What is a chart of accounts? So that is a listing of all of the accounts that you have, as well as things like assets, liability accounts, like any loans you have, and all of the expense categories. So it's basically and your equity, everything, right? That's in your chart of accounts. This is one of those things that if you don't feel comfortable setting up yourself, I recommend that you get someone like me and set it up. Just this is something I do all the time. Like, get a good chart of accounts. If you can even, honestly, if you don't have the money to pay someone like me, Google it. Google it, find a sample chart of accounts for a business like yours, and and then make it fit your business. Um, but you can get a professional, and you don't have to get me, but get a professional that knows what they're doing if you're not comfortable in doing it yourself. And they will help you set up your chart of accounts. Once that is set up and ready for you, you can categorize things on your own. And I recommend taking out 20 minutes a week. You want to do it more often than every month or every quarter or every year, because it gets super overwhelming if you wait too long. So that's why I say, if you're going to do it, like, block off 20-30 minutes every week to go through your transactions and categorize them, because that way it'll be fresh in your mind. You'll know exactly what it was for. You won't have to go back into your records because it's going to be so fresh. And you can also, what's amazing about that is, if there is fraud, if there is something that you do not recognize, you catch it early. And that is something that I cannot stress enough that I see in small businesses, is that they do not look at their finances. And honestly, I see this in tons of individuals. If you're not looking at your finances on a regular basis, you miss fraud. You miss things that happen, that someone is using your debit card for something. And if you're, sorry, my bird wants to be a part of the live. If you want to also, okay, so if you want to also be on top of things, you can do what I do, which is I have alerts on all of my credit cards and my bank accounts that any transaction over 1 penny, so that's anything coming in or out of my accounts over 1 penny, I get a text message. And I can't tell you how instrumental that has been in catching fraud or catching people using my card without permission. Like, I had a Del Taco that I had purchased a meal at a few months prior, and used my credit card. And then a few months later, all of a sudden, I looked down at my text messages, and there was another charge from Del Taco, and I knew I had not been there today, that I had not been there that day. And if I was not as vigilant on my credit cards and my bank accounts, then I could have just seen that $15 transaction and been like, oh, I must have gone to Del Taco that day. No, I didn't. And I knew it right away. And I was able to go in and make sure that I disputed that charge. And then I was able to go and have them send me a new credit card with a brand new number, so that that did not occur. I have caught many, many things that way. So that's another tip, especially with business accounts, and especially with if you've got multiple users on your credit card and you want to just make sure that each of them knows what's going on, I suggest that you monitor it. So I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but I want you to be checking this stuff every single week. If you, especially, you can also put on the alerts, but I want you to be checking every week. Set aside 20 minutes, half hour to categorize things. And when I say categorize, I mean, tell me what that transaction is. So tell the accountant what that transaction is. Was that for gas? Was that for food? Was that buying inventory? Was that money that came in from an online sale? Was that money that came in from a person that came in your shop? All of those things are different things that you're going to want to keep track of, not only for tax reasons, but for yourself, because then you can make decisions based on those. You can decide, hey, I see that most of my profit is coming from this let's say you sell on multiple websites. You can say, hey, most of my profit is coming from Amazon. Maybe I should focus my ad spend there. Or hey, I'm getting way too much in fees taken out from Square. Maybe I need to switch to a different processor. Like all of those things are things that you need to see in real time to be able to make a change for that year. Yes, it's amazing to have a profit and loss at the end of the year, and Wave apps will do that. Most accounting softwares will do that. They'll give you a profit and loss, they'll give you your balance sheet, they'll give you your general ledger, all of the things the accountant needs to do your taxes. But it's not just about taxes. It is about making sure that you are taking care of your business and that you are doing what is right for you and your business, even in the in-between times. So make decisions with real information. Make sure that you are available to seize opportunities. And the only way that you will know if you can is if you are tracking where you're at. Another reason to do this is if you're going to be looking for a loan, they want documents. They want to see your financials. They want to see what's going on with you. And instead of having to, at that moment, pay for an accountant to do your financials, you will have them on hand. You can print out a profit and loss and send it. You can, PDF a general ledger. You can PDF a balance sheet and just send it to the bank and be able to get capital to make investments in your business. So that's my spiel for today. If you've got any questions on what you should be doing, if you need help, know that I also offer 30-minute free consults. I will literally give you as much information as I can give you on your personal situation in 30 minutes, and you don't have to work with me afterwards. I just want to make sure that you are set up for success, that you are set up to thrive, and that you are not putting yourself in a situation that you're going to lose money and lose it over time, because that's what happens. If you're not watching it, if you're not making sure that you're profiting, and if you're checking it too late, then over time you will be losing so much more than if you catch it right away. So please take a second, and if you need to, book that free consult. If you have any questions, you can comment here and I will answer. Find a professional. If it's not me, then let it be someone else. But make sure that you get yourself set up, because I want you to thrive. I want you to have all of the tools that you need for your business to be successful. And even if it's a side hustle, I still want it to be successful. I still want you to be able to, if you want to take that into your full-time hustle, you can. Or if you just want to have a profitable side hustle, I want that to be your future. So work towards financial stability, work towards financial freedom, and it starts with knowing where you are. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You need to know where you are in order to win the race. You cannot win a race without knowing where your starting line is. So figure out where your starting line is, keep track, and good luck. And I will see you next week for another episode of Money Monday. Bye, sharks.